I welcome you all to this session on business ethics to corporate social responsibility CSR. Preceding to this, I had sent two videos. One on introduction about CSR and the other one about need and aspects of CSR. The third one mainly on history and evolution of concept of CSR. Students, as you know, the charity and philanthropy is not a new concept. From time immemorial, the businessman is to do this. You know that when you trace the history of human evolution or development, at around say on agriculture and after pastoral agriculture stage, or agriculture stage, when there was a barter system, no doubt goods were exchanged for goods, but the house rich is to give charity or offerings to orphans and all, or even the who employ others means laborers is to get some produce of these agriculturists for working with them. Then when town economic grown, or later geographical discoveries taken place, and west are attracted towards the eastern products, and usually for the raw materials, antiques and spices and all. And there was a good amount of production in India, and artisans and craftsmen used to do this. But even kingdom era, we studied in history that wealthy people have this to offer. Like the business at their inception period also is to offer. And the CSR may be a new dimension to such charity. So morphing from the nice thing to do to what is today, that is a necessity for successful business. Nice thing to do in the sense, earlier such a businessman used to do some. When you even in the history of management you might have studied at the beginning stages where there was a exploitation, even during industrial revolution and after post industrial revolution period also, capitalist used to exploit the laborers. Wealth was in the hands of capitalists, and laborer had only labor, nothing else. And later, when these laborers started forming their associations and started protesting and started arguing for their share in the profit of these producers, then something like this be nice. Or initially period, employer is to provide tea and snacks to the employees in the workplace, such a welfare. And later when you come to India after 1947, after independence and all, factory sectors come which focused on safety, welfare and health aspects. So initial nice things to do to the society and employees, but now it become a necessity because it is mandatory now. There is a law that 2 point at least or minimum of 2.5% of net profit must be spent on such CSR activities. So today's CSR programs have their roots in corporate philanthropy from the beginning. So wealthy businessmen, rich and philanthropist one who is to give charities and uh, do business for the good of the people, and Carnegie, who challenged wealthy people to support social causes. See, he was the first one during 1800s or before that, later part of 18th century. He stood by example to and has challenged other wealthy, means rich people, that one must support the social cause. Social cause in this is what the society needs. Following belief in the gospel of wealth, that's what his principles. Then in 2018, in the beginning of 19th century, John D. Rockefeller, taking inspiration from Carnegie, uh, followed suit in donating more than $500 million. So he has donated, started giving donations. Then such a practices were there during that time. Later in 1914, 1914 is a historical milestone because in the year in which First World War began, Frederick Gough, a well-known banker in Cleveland, who found a trust, that Cleveland Foundation, through his Cleveland Trust Company. Uh, it has objective, he had the objective of to give a power to community by accepting gifts from multiple donors. So he has one. The trust was created by him at his place, Cleveland, and named after that Cleveland Foundation Trust, where he started taking public donation, I mean donations from people. That's like a gift, and he used to use it for the that collective funds to those who need in the community. So he started that trust, from which he raised public donation and given it to the other. It was the first such trust or foundation in such a stature to start with, say some sort of say donations, and it is not just for the shareholders, and it is to support others charities also. So CSR truly begin during this period, where to take hold in the USA in 1970s. 1970s, where the Committee for Economic Development was formed in USA in 1991, and they have declared, the committee has declared, uh, that is okay. In 1953, Harvard Bowen, an American economist, and Grenell College president, often cited as a father of CSR, published a book in 1953. It has given or focused on CSR initiative, and in 1971, the Committee for Economic Development was formed. It has started CSR in the modern meaning for the first time, and this is often referred to today as a license to operate. See, license to operate means it is not a legal license. Don't be under the impression that a legal license is enough to start and run a business. See, whatever this business or corporate does, they must be accepted by the society. It is not just that the product and services what they manufacture and distribute must be accepted and purchased or taken benefit by the customer or locality or people of the area, which requires societal say approvals, for which when they do some or when they respond to the social causes of the community, then they'll get a license to operate their business. So this is what what license they get from the society, which is for the longer period, and which may not need such a license fees or renewal fees and all, but other license which they get, legal license, need to be renewed every time. So this license to operate, that is to contribute more to society than solely for the products for sale. Product, no doubt, should be of quality and of say, we must realize or reach the promised expectations or benefits. In addition to that, lot of other things a company has to do to have a license for long run survival. The social contact, whatever outlined by the Committee for Economic Development in 1971, has three major responsibilities, and they are still applicable today. Those responsibilities put on the corporates under social contract. As you know, social contract, there is not such a thing. One end society, another one this business, and they should have a very congenial and very harmonious relationship. That's what the contract. So, which it provides means these corporates provides jobs and contributes for economic development through well-run business. So, businesses creates job or provides job and employment, and thereby it enables people to enhance their standard of living and contribute for the economic development one side. Then run the business fairly and honestly regarding employees and customers. You see, fair in this sense, there should not be any sort of discrimination among the people. All should be paid equally for the equal work. There should not be any sort of discrimination, even on the basis of sex, as men and women, in the as regards payment of salary. The another one is the honesty. It is said that honesty is the best policy, but the India may fail the international market mainly due to the dishonest policies or practices. We have ample of examples. In spite of having good market worldwide, Indians used to go for adulteration and all, even in case of agriculture produce, or maybe in case of some spices, or any such product, having established market in the global or in other countries, they go for some adulteration and they follow some dishonest route to make to mint money, and they lose. So here, fairness for the employees and customers and honest in there. Say there should not be any sort of misleading advertisements, and when the manufacturer or marketer offers certain benefits from a product, those product benefits must be realized when they are purchased. And third one is become more broadly involved in improving the conditions of the community and the environment in which it operates. See, first one, provide job, that is to the individuals whoever work there, and contribute the economic growth. Then fairness among employees and all, maybe customers, and be honest in their business. Don't go for any sort of adulteration and misleading thing and cheating and all. So that is what be ethical, legal and ethical. See, ethics is beyond legality, it is or morality related thing, and take off more and more. That's what be more broadly involved in the improving the conditions of the community. So community development programs, environment development, protection, conservation programs, and all this such thing must be undertaken in the place where it operates. So these are three major responsibilities posed on corporates by the Committee for Economic Development in USA in the year 1971 under the heading Social Contracts. In 1976, Professor Sandra L. Holmes conducted a survey on CSR to find out how decisions on which causes support were made. So she conducted a steady survey and found that her results of her research found that from the executive perceptions, means managers' perception of corporate social responsibility can boil down to what and all. Utilizing a corporation's ability to help a specific need, specific need, it is not general or generic in sense for that particular community or area or the country or state or district or say village, maybe in rural area, whatever needed by the immediate people there. Then severity of social needs. Severity, now you see, when there was a problem of oxygen and all, that was the severity during this pandemic. So policymakers or rulers appealed, and good number of corporates come across, and even for say municipality corporations and all, they are asked to spend their CSR amount for this oxygen plant and such oxygen bed facilities. That's what the severity, that has to be attended. Then executive interest. Executive interest in the sense, officials of the uh, organization, they have to sacrifice their personal interest and they have to show interest on these acts. And public relations gained from the actions. So when they do good work, they will get a good. It will contribute for the good relationship between companies, and in fact it enhances the relationship, good relation between company and such. So that is what the uh, relationship, public relations means company and with the public, that will be it will contribute for the goodwill. Then government influence, maybe the best example, as I told, the CSR activities during this pandemic. So government influences on company, and now of course government has passed an ordinance making compulsion on part of each company to bear 2.5% of net profit. Then profession, RCB should be a professor. RCB summarized there by 1979 in a dimensional, three-dimensional concept model of corporate. Later you have those models and all. Corporate three conception model of corporate, which created uh, a model to make this model to make CSR important. So using the evolution of the corporate social responsibility model, which debuted in 1985, Carl Carroll Carroll's definition. He has given a definition, the social corporate social performance model, what is which is adopted by Carroll's. He has defined in its definition of CSR, where he has given three approaches. That is company adopted principles. Company adopted principles, that is for ethics. Uh, Company adopted principles in this is doing less harm, do good, do good for the maximum number of people, or when harming is inevitable, do the less harm. See, when there is manufacturing, of course, in the process of manufacturing, carbon dioxide will be emitted. But to reduce the burden of this carbon dioxide on environment, they have to adopt a proper treatment plans. Thereby, they can reduce it, and uh, that is what least. That is what the ethics. It does not that don't cause any harm. When it is inevitable, do less, cause less harm. Do good to the maximum. Then create an executive formal process. How they would respond. It should be made as a, you say, create and execute means plan and implement a formal process. CSR as a formal process, like any other, say, manufacturing, distribution, product and service, like this one also, welfare of the employees, society and community, make it part and partial, have a policy for that. And now anyhow government talks about CSR policies, and all corporates will have their own policies, and its implementation, make it as a formal process, compulsory. Then develop policies, manage specific issues. Say at the beginning, even in the budget, they must budget for the corporate. This is what Carroll's has given in the corporate social performance model, where he has given a three P's approach: principles, process, policies. Principles, value principle, ethics; process, adopt; and have a policy. Policy, that is say for a fairly good number of years. In early 1990s, the 20th century almost end, Professor Donna J. Wood published Corporate Social Performance Revisited. He has given a model, and in this paper, uh, two models previously mentioned and added an important facet, means aspect: program outcomes and impacts. He says, in addition to those three, you must say what and all benefits, that's outcomes has come by spending those amount on CSR, and what sort of impact, positive impact on the society and welfare. So many of the companies we are about to today develop their modern strategies in 1980s, 90s, and begun to communicate their contributes. Now they must publish. All corporates must incorporate spending on CSR in the annual accounts, and they should adopt. So it must undergo CSR audit, and it has to be interpreted or published a report, CSR, in the form of CSR report. Then every very early adopters of CSR were companies such as Johnson and Johnson, whose founder Robert Wood Johnson established their shadow in 1943, which required that the needs of those who they are served. The first, they the Hershey company founder Milton Hershey is another, and he built a town and community with all facilities. So civic centers, cultural institutions, and all this. See, sometimes these corporates, you will contribute for the development of culture of the place, society in which they operate. And today, CSR is essential to the bottom line, as I mentioned in the triple bottom line approach. The net profit must be for all three, must go to all three. One portion economic profit to the owners, shareholders, for their investment, return on investment. Other portion for the employees, welfare of the employees, people in the organization. So first profit P to the organizers or the owners. Next for the another P is the people. Other one is planet. So planet in the sense to protect the earth, planet earth, all those. So these three P's must be taken care: profit to owner, profit, people, planet. So bottom line in the sense net profit. And corporate citizenship professionals are empowered to align their work with the business for the to maximize impact, maximum impact benefit. As new professionals join the field every day, it's important to look back on how CSR has evolved and who those early contributors were. So this is about history. You may get sometimes 4 marks or 8 marks question on this. Thank you. Let me end the session here.